Shalom Yashrala, this your brother Dawada, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for your Aki and pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump to this here article real quick as we're getting closer and closer to the end. All right, you've seen a lot of different, prophecies speaking at the end days as the prophecies say it would. All right, wars and rumors of wars, and even checking the temperature of a lot of these people and having conversations with a lot of people, throughout the week as things been going on. Earlier in the week, I don't know if it was last week or earlier this week, I was feeling a certain type of way because there was a lot of propaganda coming out about the situation that was going on with the Ukraine-Russia situation as far as, Ukraine taking over some, parts of land and Russia's so-called retreating and everything else like that. And, these people, the way they spin it in the Western media and the Western news is that, see Russia or see Ukraine is winning the war in Russia, and Russia's equipment is all old, out of date, and they don't spend that much time on it. Or as they're bringing out military equipment, they're literally just catching flats and leaving all this. Like, yo, man, you're not fighting up against some old ass country when it comes to war. Now, granted, Russia's equipment, a lot of their equipment that they were using, all right, from back in the days was from, the end of World War II. Then you had, you had to go into like the collapse of the Soviet Union and everything else like that happened in the Cold War, and what America pretty much did to them was just turn them into a third world country. But as the scriptures say, and we'll get it, Lord's will, in Ezekiel 38 about putting the hooks back into the jaws of Russia and bringing them back and all their horses and horsemen. All right, that military was going to be brought back to that USSR state, not just the landmass, of all those countries, but also to the might and the power that they had. All right, so hey, when we go into these things, you have to understand that Russia's not no nation to be slept on, man. You got to understand why America is tiptoeing around. They have different threats that they saying we're not gonna put no troops on the ground and certain weapons in Ukraine, but when it comes to Taiwan or China, they saying, look, we'll put troops on the ground over there, we'll help them, even though that's just blowing smoke up their ass anyway. But they watching very carefully what they saying to Russia, man. They're walking on a thin line by calling them a state sponsor of terrorists and things like that, which would give them a green light to just go up in there like that, because they know that, hey, man, Russia has got, that's their their only pure rival when it comes to equipment and things like that, man. All them other European nations, they all getting stockpiled by America, but Russia, on the other hand, all right, contrary to popular belief, I had this conversation with somebody the other day about Russia and what they got and everything else like that. Like, look, bro, there's only two nations on the face of the earth that's producing or that has the capability of producing nuclear weapons, and that's America and Russia. They both stole that technology from Germany at the end of World War II. All this technology comes from Germany, but they took their scientists, all right, you look it up, Project Paperclip, they took their scientists at that point in time, all right, and then they put them into their militaries. They started advancing their capabilities and things. So, people were worried about, what is it, Iran and Kim Jong-un and them and North Korea, North Korea got nukes, but more people are worried about them, but in reality, all they would do is spot nukes from Russia or America, just like how Europe and Europe ain't building no goddamn nuclear weapons. All right, they just get them from America. All right, same with like Israel and everything else like that. So people have to understand these things. The only real formidable opponent that they have is Russia, man. But they trying to use this as propaganda. But you notice that Russia ain't using none of their big dog weapons over there in the Ukraine, man. They're not even using their big dog fighter jets over there in the Ukraine, man. All right, they're not using their hypersonic missiles. Well, they've tested them out over there, but they're not really using them like that over in Ukraine. There's no need for it. They're not even using their actual military in Ukraine. They're using reserve forces, up to like 300,000 of them. All right, they damn near got a 1,000,000-man army over there and only using, like a third of their army. All right, so, or their military. So, hey, contrary to this, how you call it, propaganda that they putting out, and plus, Russia was what they call the Vostok, all right, the military drills that they conduct annually over there. This is going into another one of those things. It says Iran to join with Russia and China, all right, in which, going into this here lesson about, prophecy taking place as far as these nations banding together under the guise of Russia, under that Russian umbrella. All right. It says the chief of staff in Tehran says naval maneuvers will take place in the Indian Ocean. The Iranian Navy will take part in joint exercise with Russia and Chinese warships this autumn. The Major General Mohammad Hossein Bagheri announced on Thursday in Tehran. The chief of staff of the Iranian armed forces did not offer much in the way of details about the planned maneuvers, but said other countries such as Oman and Pakistan might participate as well. All right, as the scriptures say, an assembly of great nations. All right, is going to come together under the guise of Russia. All right, to wage war against Babylon. All right, it says Bulgaria made the announcement on the sidelines of a military parade in Tehran, marking the Sacred Defense Week, according to the Mir news agency. Exercises involving the navies of Iran, Russia, and China will be held in the northern part of the Indian Ocean this autumn, Mir quoted Bulgaria as saying. It says this would be the fourth joint exercise by the three navies since 2019 and the first since the escalation of hostilities in Ukraine. 11 Iranian vessels, 3 Russian and 2 Chinese warships took part in the January 2022 exercise in the northern Indian Ocean. Among the activities practiced at the time were artillery fire on Navy targets, search and rescue operations, and the liberation of civilian ships from pirates, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. It says Russia and China conducted a joint patrol in the northern Pacific off the coast of Japan earlier this month. A total of 8 ships from Russia's Pacific Fleet of the People's Liberation Army Navy took part in those maneuvers. So again, with these things that they have going on, they're talking about what? These joint military exercise drills. They're speaking on what? Them doing these practice maneuvers and these things like that, just getting them ready for, war. All right. The point is, when you do these drills and things like that, what are they, what are they practicing for? What are they getting these things ready for? All right. They're getting ready to so-called use them. All right. You don't sit there and, a person, Jake do this, but Jake will go and buy a gun or something like that and just leave it on the damn shelf till it's time to use it, and they try to, pull it out as if they're going to be skilled for it. But when you see these damn Edomites, all right, they be out there training. Like they say, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. They already had their practice and everything going forth to the point where if something was to pop off, they already know exactly how to use and maneuver their weaponry, all right? But, hey, this is what these nations are doing. They're doing these joint military drills as far as learning how to, participate with one another, as one solid unit, all right? Let's jump into some scriptures real quick because, hey, this is all fulfilling prophecies. Let me grab this real quick and let me read this first since we're right here. All right. This is Ezekiel 38, and I'm going to start at verse 1. And the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith Yahweh power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. All right, going into Russia. It says, I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. All right. Now going in, let me read the next verse. It says, And I will bring thee forth in all thy army and all thy horses and horsemen. All right. And going into these things, man, not only are they being brought back to that old Soviet state, geographically. All right. But they're also being brought back to that Soviet state as far as militarily wise, man. All right. Like I said, contrary to all this propaganda that's being pushed out about how old and outdated, you would think that, America or Russia was fighting with a military that hadn't been upgraded since World War II. When in fact, that's how America's systems are, man. When you look at Russia's, when you if you actually know what the hell going on with these two nations, like militarily wise, America spent a lot of money on on military budgets, more than all the next 9 countries combined. But when you look at the missiles that they're using, these nuclear missiles that they're using, all right, they I would say the ones that they got now has pretty much been, not to say perfected, but they worked on them and upgraded them up until the time of a little bit before the Cold War. All right. But at the same time, they got those Minuteman III missiles. But Russia then came out with some new shit since then, man. All right. Within the last, I don't know how many years, but nevertheless, Barack Obama was in office, just to give you a time frame of reference. So Russia then upgraded their system since then. Now, when it comes to the missile defense systems, all right, all throughout Barack Obama's time in place, they dropped them S-400s, the S-500s, S-550s, man. All right, Russia's been upgrading their systems, left and right, whereas, America still using their old-ass, THAAD system, Patriot system. All right, they ain't really upgraded nothing, man. All right, Russia dropped these hypersonic missiles. All right, and America still hadn't even perfected that technology yet, man. All right, nuclear-powered cruise missiles. All right, with an unlimited fuel range. All right, unlimited strike range. All right, so again, like I said, when you try and look, Russia's got their what is it, the Su-57, I believe it is. all right, which you know, America's version of that, not to say their version, but their, was it a fifth generation fighter jet that they have like on the same level as that, which is the F-35. That shit is flawed than the motherfucker, man. It ain't even been perfected, which Russia then upgraded they Su-57. I believe it's called a Su-75, which is what they call checkmate. In reality, that damn plane is a AI fighter jet, man. All right, so hey, man, Russia's got some shit that they've already got in production, not what they're working on. And people would say, "Oh, well, you don't really know what America got. You don't know what America really got. You think they're gonna really tell you what they got?" Hey, the scriptures is letting us know who's gonna reign supreme in this whole thing, man. All right, and you have to understand what these damn elites are doing, man. You can even see this with a lot of these different businesses and things like that, man, where they're coming out with a lot of this so-called new shit. You know what I'm saying? At the time and frame where a lot of these businesses are at right now, they're taking a lot of this money instead of actually investing into certain things to produce certain things. They're giving you the shit end of the stick and taking all this money as a money grab. And these elites is just using that to so-called build their bunkers with for their escape plan, man. All right, look at a lot of these different companies, whether it's like, like let's say Sony, for instance, or Microsoft when it comes to these gaming systems, man. Like, you telling me that at this point in time in technology and everything else like that, you couldn't come up with a scenario or with the microchips, or they blame it on the microchips and everything else. The new cars is coming out and everything else like that. Bro, y'all got a scarcity of these things? No, y'all just trying to up the price on these bad boys as a money grab, and you're giving the people a shitty product, but you don't really plan on coming out with something after that, man. All right, because you at the end all be all. You just putting this money into your so-called getaway plan, man. That's why you're starting to see a lot of things really, the quality of a lot of things fail at the end all be all, man. That's where they really putting their money into. All right, so they know it's like no point in trying to, how do I say, perfect these things at this point in time, man. All right. But hey, this is what these, the scriptures also talk about that they go into the, the clefts, not the clefts of the rocks, the tops of the mountains, digging into the earth. All right, going into their underwater sea bases and things like that, man. So hey, the scriptures is what's letting us know what these people have in their so-called arsenal, man. People, again, like I said, they would say, "Oh, you don't know what the Americans got and everything." We know what the prophecies say, man. All right, so hey, we know that Russia's going to prevail against Babylon the Great. All right. It says, "I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thy army, horses and horsemen." All right, bringing them back to that major military superpower statement. All right, and again, you have Ukraine, right? Just say Ukraine on one side, but in reality, what is it? It's America and all of NATO fighting up against Russia like that. But Russia only using a third of their military, the reserves, to battle this shit off, man. And they're not even using their big equipment. But again, they would have you think that, Russia is losing the fight. Oh, they didn't withdrew some troops and everything else. Like, bro, they fighting a war and doing military drills with other nations on a whole other side, bro. Like, they got their practice squad on the field while they big dogs is in the gym right now practicing right now, man. What are you talking about, man? Y'all can't even. You got your NFL players over here fighting up against like the practice squad of some middle schoolers out here, man. And y'all over here, what the hell y'all got going on over here, man? All right, but hey, continuing on, it says, I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thy army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor. All right, even a great company with bucklers and shields, and all of them handling swords. All right, so hey, this is a massive military with, how do I say, top tier weaponry coming out. All right, it says Persia, in which Persia is what? Iran. All right, so hey, we just read the article about how Iran was going to be paired together with Russia and China. All right, doing military drills, man. All right, and we also know what the end game go. They trying to, with the same thing they do in Russia, it's the same thing they trying to do to Iran. All right, so hey, that's putting them to by default on the same side. All right, it says Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, and all of them with shields and helmet. All right, it says with all of them, and all of them with shields and helmet. Gomer and all his bands, and the house of Tomargov, the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. So hey, there's gonna be many nations joined together with Russia, all right, to band together up against Babylon the Great, all right, in battle, man. All right, not to mention how do you say, Babylon's allies are gonna turn on her as well too. But we see right now what these militaries are doing right now when it comes to these joint military exercises. All right, and again, you know how much money it costs to conduct a military exercise, man. All right, first of all, you got to get all the damn troops up and ready to go. That costs money just to move them. Just to get the troops from one place to another place, that's a lot of goddamn money. All right, just think about this, man. You got your football team or whatever. You in high school, right? You got a football team. Imagine if you had, let's say, you in Florida and you about to go and play, let's say, another state right? Let's say you about to go and play Georgia, a football game in Georgia or something like that. The amount of money it's going to take just to be able to either you're going to fly all the team out, or you're going to put them all on a bus, all right, some type of way. All right, now for them to get that bus ticket or that plane ticket, you got to buy one for every damn student, the coaches, and everybody else that's riding with y'all over there. That's just the fuel price to get there. Not to mention when you get there, you got to have somewhere to stay. All right, not to mention when you get there and you stay somewhere, you got to find some place to be able to eat, man. All right, so look, those are just three costs just to travel to get over there, some place to stay and some place to eat. Not to mention all the fuel that's going to take for all this equipment. You know, you got naval ships, all right, you got tanks, you got planes and everything else is going. You got to put fuel in all that stuff, man. Not to mention you're not just showing up and driving around. All right, you're gonna be sitting over there firing off live rounds, man. So all the rounds that you using and everything else like that is gonna cost as well too. Now you firing these rounds into what? You know, you doing naval drills and things like that, firing against other ships. So you got to be able to have some little dummy ships that's built up just to be able to sink those bad boys. So man, they're spending this here money not for no show and tell, not just for fun and everything else like that. Especially in a time of a global economic collapse. Hey man, these people are preparing for war. All right. It says, verse 7, be thou prepared and prepare for thyself. All right. And this is what Russia has been doing. Like I said, you know, you hadn't been hearing about America dropping new weaponry or nothing like that, coming out with some new high tech shit, man. The newest thing that they came out with was that F-35. They're working on a hypersonic missile, but they can't really get it to the testing phase, man. All right. But look, that's the latest thing they didn't came out with was that, well, they had the F-35, and then you could say like the drones and things that they didn't came out with. But other than that, man, Russia's been dropping new stuff over the last 10 years, man. All right. So, and they still in how do I say, going, you know, light speed ahead of America when it comes to dropping new equipment, man. All right. But it says, be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all the company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. So, hey, for all the nations that are assembled unto you, be a guard unto them. Be that umbrella unto these different nations, man. Be that protective shield. Be that, you know, again, like I said, when it comes to, let's just say, nukes. All right, you know, the sword was given into Esau as a blessing. Now, Russia and America, they both Edomites. But, and look at it, man. Where are these other nations getting their weaponry from, man? They're getting their weaponry from either Russia or America, one way or the other, man. All right. It says, uh, let me just go back up a little bit. It says, be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all the company that are assembled unto thee, uh, and be thou a guard unto them. All right. So you're going to be that one that's going to be, you know, leading the charge and leading the way up against these other nations when it comes into, you know, World War III. All right. Let me go and grab this real quick in Jeremiah. Um, Jeremiah 50 and, yeah, 9. It's for lo, I can read this in both NLT and the KJV, but KJV first says, for lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country. So again, going into that assembly of great nations, going back into you know, as far as them doing these joint military exercise drills. All right, you know, so it's more than one country that's going together for this here war. So for lo, I will raise the cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence, all right, she shall be taken, and her arrows, Salak, their arrows shall be as a mighty expert man, and none shall return in vain. All right, and in NLT it says, for I am raising up an army of great nations, all right, from the north. All right, so, you know, let me keep reading. It says, they will join forces to attack Babylon. All right, so again, we're seeing these nations joining forces, and they're preparing themselves together, you know, one with another for what? The purpose of World War III. All right, let me read this, and we'll close out in this is Joel. Let me see if we can grab this here. Where it says Joel 3 and 9 says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. All right, let's see if we can get into this here word real quick. All right. Where's the word? It's the word I wanted to grab in here for this here. Prepare. Um, I was going in to get ready. Let me see if I can find it up here. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. It says and going into, it says to set apart, to devote. All right. So basically, or also to consecrate. But the part I wanted to grab was to set apart. All right. So you got a certain amount of your military that you're using for what? To go into these drills, man. All right, there. Let me go back. How do we get back up out of here? It says, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war," or set apart your a portion of your military to do what? To be joined together. All right. It says, "Prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up." All right. It says, "Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears, and let the weak say I am strong." Let me grab this word real quick as well. All right. So we just went into to set apart or to devote. All right. So this is the word for a symbol. It says to lend aid, to come, to help, to hasten. All right. So the point there I wanted to grab was to lend aid. All right. So they set apart a certain portion of their military. 3 verse 11. "Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, gather yourselves together round about, thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh." So look, these nations are setting apart, a portion of their military, all right, to go into these joint military exercise drills and everything else like that, man. All right, so that what? That they can prepare themselves for war, preparing themselves for that great day of battle, man. All right, and we seeing these things come together, right up off the pages of the scriptures, man. As far as the writing on the wall and everything else like that, hey, man, these scriptures are becoming a living testimony. All right, this is the point now where, like I said, if you can't see these things coming to pass, man, then the Lord's really got you blinded, man. All right, if you can't see these things coming to pass, you're just never going to get it. All right, you can explain it to your face turn blue, because there was a point in time, where we used to prophesy about these things, and people was like, well, I don't know about this, I don't know about that, I don't know, this is too deep for me to understand, and everything else like that. Well, now we're to the point where it's on the news, and they're telling you flat out, man. Are you hearing this here talk about these different nations going to war? Everybody know about Ukraine and Russia and everything else going on with that. Like I said, you even have people talking about, Russia with the nuclear threat and everything else like that. You had non-believers beforehand that used to laugh at the USSR missile sign and everything else like that. You even had people at that point in time saying, "Oh, World War III ain't gonna happen in our lifetime," to the point now where people is just like, "Fuck, World War III might be around the corner. Fuck, we might be about to have a thermonuclear warfare." People who believed that the nukes didn't even exist beforehand, now we're talking about some I don't know. We might be about to see a thermonuclear warfare, man. You even had certain channels that when talking about this prep and stuff and everything else like that, they thought about, I don't think that the nukes is going to come. I don't think it's going to be nuclear warfare. I think that, one thing we have to worry about is a global economic collapse or EMP strike and going into the darkness and everything else like that. But hey, now they're saying, look, I know I'm the one that's like always telling people not to talk about nuclear destruction and fear mongering and this and that. And I don't even think that the nukes is coming. But right now, I mean, I'd be a fool to not see this is going on, man, because this is what it's shaping up to be. All right, and we'll close out with that because, look, despite what you believe, despite what you feel like and everything else like that, it's all according to what? Prophecy. All right, Habakkuk 2 and 3 says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry." Let me see what this word is for vision. We know it's going into the prophecies, but well, there we go. A vision or oracle, a divine communication. So, hey, this divine communication from the Lord, all right, about the end, already starting to come to life right now. So, again, it's not what you believe. Oh, I don't think this is going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. Hey, man, it ain't up to what you think, what I think, and what everybody else think, man. I can sit here and be like, you know what, I think something else completely is going on, or this is what's going to happen, that's what's going to happen. But I'll be a fool to sit there and be like, well, this is what it's saying in the scriptures, man. All right, and the scriptures is coming to pass, man. And we here at the end all be all, how do you know the Bible real and everything else like that? Well, if you was to actually read the Bible and understand, well, first of all, the Lord had to open up your mind to these things. But if you was to actually read the Bible and just write down all the prophecies that ever was written in the scriptures and everything else like that, and tick off all the prophecies that actually came to pass, man, and you will see that about 98% of all the prophecies that was written there in the scriptures all came to pass. Now, the last 2% of them are for a future time that's coming out. So you would be a fool to be like, damn, You know, the scriptures, 98% of these scriptures, you know, let's just say put it instead of percentages, right? 98 out of 100 prophecies, you done wrote down all the prophecies. Let's just say there's 100 of them, right? Hypothetically, let's just say it's 100 for easy math. 98 out of those 100 of them that came to pass, and you got 2 more left. And you thinking, well, look, you'd be a fool to sit there and be like, well, the Bible still ain't real, and this is how you know this is going to happen, how you know that's going to happen. Like, bro, if 98 out of 100 of them, this is more than 50%. If 98 out of 100 then came to pass, and the last 2 of them that's you looking for to come to pass is coming in the future, and we seeing signs of those things coming forth, then you'd have to be a damn fool to not believe this, man. So, hey, again, it's not what we think or what we believe. It's all according to what? The prophecy. Like Scripture say, the spirit of Yahushua is the spirit of what? The spirit of prophecy. But I'm going to go ahead and close out with that. Lord willing, the elect was edified with this here lesson. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua, Bahashim Rakakudash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders, the great millstone that taught us this truth and every will. And salutation and much love for you. I can push this truth and sincerity over the 4 corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say, stay strong. Shalom.